Alright, our level is very blue at the moment, but that's fine. You can go ahead and set that up the way you like. As I mentioned, if we go ahead and play now, for example, view our level from that camera. Select the camera again, and I will deactivate this auto active for player. Disable that. And now if I play again, this is playing in the selected viewport here. Press F8 to eject. Notice that again we spawn right here in the middle basically of this pedal, that is of the basket. So this is one way of fixing that. In the auto activate for play, you can set this here to play 0, and that should now work. But there's a different way of setting that view target using the set view target function on the player controller, and I want to do this bonus section here to show you how to set that up, because you may have a different camera setup depending on the game that you are trying to build. One way of doing that is to have some sort of a level manager, and then the artist can go ahead and select the camera that they want to view the level through, instead of selecting every camera like this and doing it in this way that I demonstrated. And with that you can have a complicated setup where you can transition between different cameras that you have in your level and stuff like that, so it affords you some additional flexibility. But for this I just want to show you the basic setup, and then you can go ahead and experiment further in your own projects using the function and the setup that I will show you. You can script an actor and have that in your level, but we don't need to do that for a manager as a level manager, because we already have a level manager. We have the level blueprints, and so what we'll do instead is we will create a new class, a C++ class under tools here, new C++ class. I will go ahead and I will search for level script actor. Instances of these classes are hidden actors that exist within a level, as you can see from the tooltip here. So what we'll do is we will create a level script actor, and then we will set that as the parent for our level blueprints. Okay, so with that selected, I will click next here, and I will call that. You may have a conflict if you simply call that level script actor, so I'll call this level script base, and the setup for this and the allocation is fine. I will just leave it at the default, and I will click create class. That will now open up my Visual Studio here. I did not have Visual Studio open, so it will go ahead and open that up. I will actually close off the editor for now, and I'll just save whatever. Actually, I won't save anything here for right now. The class is very empty, as we can see, so I'll go ahead and add a few things. Add the begin play and the constructor right here as well. Next, we want to think a bit about what it is that we want to do. We don't want to create an array and then search through all of the actors in the level, so in the world, and then set a view target to whatever camera actor we find. We want to afford the artist the ability to choose the specific camera that you want, because again you may have multiple cameras set up in your level depending on the game, and this setup that I'm demonstrating can be extended for your future projects. So what I'll do is in the protected section I will go ahead and create a pointer to an A camera actor. I will call that camera. Of course, if you have multiple cameras, you can do the camera 1, camera 2, whatever you want, main camera and so forth. I'll just do camera here. Unlike a component, we actually do want to change the pointer, so where this is pointing, that is in the editor somewhere, and maybe even we want to get that maybe from the blueprints as well. And I'm just choosing some category, so setup or camera setup, for example, because you'll have many different categories in your level manager potentially, especially if you have a complex larger game. Okay, now we want to think about what we want to do going forward. We want to get a pointer to the player controller that is currently in the world. We will return that pointer and then we will call a function on that. This does not have to be in the protected section, doesn't have to be public. For that reason, I'm just making that private here. I will name that controller. You can call that whatever you want, of course, but I'll just call that controller for now. Right click on here, quick actions and refactoring, and I'll create that definition in the level script base.cpp. That seems fine. And then also the begin play, quick actions and refactoring, and create that definition. So this is what we have in the level script base.cpp right now. Save all. Taking a step back, I'll just go back here to the level script base.h. With the camera actor, I'll right click on that and I will pick definition, and I will scroll down a bit and notice that this has a camera component. Okay, so you have a scene component and a camera component. I talked about this in the previous lecture where this camera actor will have a camera component. Also, we specify a pointer to a camera actor because if you have an actor here instead of this pointer to a camera actor, then the artist can basically choose any actor in the level, and of course we don't want that. We want specifically some actor, a specific actor, and that is a camera actor. We actually won't be doing anything in the constructor. I just wanted to show you how to set things up here. And in the begin play, as I mentioned, what we want to do is we want to get the controller, the player controller, that is spawned into our level when we click begin play. As I demonstrated before, when you play your game or simulate your level, then we get the default player controller spawned. So how do we get access to that? Because we want to invoke the setViewTarget on that, we will look for the player controller using the top-down approach. Using a getWorld, we will get the first player controller. The getFirstPlayerController will return the first player controller or null. So we do a check if the controller is not null basically, then we go and invoke setViewTarget. And I'll just do Ctrl spacebar here. You can see that the second formal parameter has a default argument, so we're not concerned with that. But you can maybe do some research on that if you want, because you can do a transition between different cameras and stuff like that, which is very handy. Also notice we are currently getting this red squiggly. If I bold, let's just see if I do Ctrl B, we will get a feld here. I will include a header. That is going to be camera/cameraactor.h, and that should be fine now. If I bold, yeah, that is going to succeed. So with that set up, I will go ahead and build and run. Okay, next, if we go to the content browser and under C++ classes, notice that we have the level script base right here, but we are not going to derive from that because we are going to set that as the parent for the level blueprints. Open the level blueprint right here. I will switch over to the class settings, and the parent class we can now choose here. I will set that to level script base. Alright, and now in the class defaults, we have the, if I scroll down, we have the camera setup, and then we can go ahead and select that camera. Now before I do, I'll just compile and save. Before we do, I will select that camera, scroll down and make sure to disable this auto activate for player, so that when we play, we don't get that particular setup that we want. So if I go back, you can set it in here, but we can also get that a particular variable. In the My Blueprint section here, I'll right click and I will show the inherited variables. And so under camera setup, we have the camera. I will set that. And if we have the camera actor selected in the viewport, right click in here and I will get a reference to that. And now we can plug that in, and at begin play, event begin play, we can set that, compile and save. And if we play now, you can see what I mean. It's going to set that up for us using that function. So of course we don't have to do this here, because if we go to the class defaults, we can go ahead and set it up by default. Select that particular camera, compile and save, and if I click play, that should work fine. You can also test this maybe in a new editor window. Okay, and you can see we get that perspective that we want. If I bring back Visual Studio here, and in the level script base.h, if this was not a pointer to a camera actor, then we would have the ability to select whatever actor we want in the level, but that's not what we want. We want to select a specific actor, in this case a camera actor. Alright. before wrapping up, I want to set the camera and the controller to null pointer in the constructor, so I'll go ahead and do that. So they don't have any garbage values, and then of course here in begin play, that is where we go and modify those. Okay, so that is going to wrap up this particular setup for the camera. This was a bit of a bonus section, so I hope this helps you set up your cameras in your own games.